But I don't know if you can hear me.
Whoa. Were you saying hello to me?
Yeah, hi, I love your
Hi,
hair.
sorry. Oh, thank you.
I love it.
Hello, Jordan.
Are we just waiting for everybody right now?
Yeah, the arrival time was 8:55. We normally wait until 8 o'clock to get started just to get everybody rounded up.
Sure.
So we just got a few more minutes.
Jordan, how's the day been so far?
My day's been good. I'm actually dog sitting right now for my friends, so I just woke up around 8, let the dogs out, and I've just been hanging out since then. That's why I'm going to keep myself muted most of the time, because sometimes these dogs bark, and I don't want it to, like, disrupt it all. But they're super cute, and I miss my dog, so it's kind of fun being able to be around some puppies.
Well, I was gonna say the puppies are nice in that sense, like not to keep you muted or anything like that. But
Yeah.
we was gonna ask everybody when you're not speaking, please have your mics muted and just unmute when you want to speak. So it'll work out. Sorry, Kayla, you were gonna say something too.
I was just gonna ask her, like, what kind of puppies they were. Like, what's the...
The one is right here. I don't know if you can see him. He is a boxer Shah mix. He's like 80 pounds. He's ginormous. And then the other one is, he's hanging out over there. I don't want to bother him, but, see another barking. Stop, Spencer. But, he is a little collie wiener dog mix. So he looks like my dog, Lassie, but little. And I'm going to mute now because he's barking.
Well, thank you for sharing. Steven, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Can't complain.
Mm-hmm. Are you just waking up as well?
Yeah, I'm in Denver, Colorado.
So that's like a couple hours earlier, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here with us.
Early morning. And then I'm actually flying to State College later today. So,
Wow.
busy day. Yeah.
Busy.
Busy day.
Geez, well, once again, thanks. Seems
no
like
problem.
a busy day. So hopefully everything goes smoothly. Hopefully you got some hand sanitizer. Stay calm.
Yeah.
It's so hot on the COVID rates right now. We're number 2 in the nation in spikes.
Yeah,
so
I saw that.
let's go.
It's insane. It's insane. I don't want my parents to see that. That's for sure.
Wow, I didn't know we were number 2 in the nation. In spike?
I'm sure that, different reports say different things. I saw one that said 5th, and I saw one that said 2nd. So I'm using 2nd because it makes it sound, it's just better for stories and talking.
For sure. Steven, I wish you a safe flight.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Lots of masks. That's for sure. Lots of hand sanitizer.
That's good. You sound prepared.
No, I'm probably not, but I'll do my best.
Hi, Abdullah. Hi, Mariam. Hi, Ahmed. Zainab. How's everyone's afternoon going? No, it's like 4 p.m. for you guys.
Hello guys,
Hello.
welcome to Social 119
Hi.
Dialogue. I guess Zainab should change her name to English alphabetics if that's necessary.
Yeah, sorry.
I
didn't
was.
know.
Go ahead.
I didn't know that I put the letters in Arabic. I'll change it.
Thanks.
You all had no problem pronouncing it as a matter.
And I was just going to say we're going to go ahead and get started here in just a minute. I'll be here throughout the entire call in case anybody has any tech issues or questions. Feel free to message me privately in the chat. Other than that, I will go ahead and turn my audio and video off and leave it up to Razar and Shahad. Alright, take off.
Okay. So, welcome to a Social 19 dialogue. I am Shahad.
And I am Razar. We will be your dialogue facilitators.
The intention of this dialogue is to continue the examination of a topic initiated in Social 19, and to give you the opportunity to respond to the content discussed in class. Our goal for these 90 minutes is to think about this topic together from as many different angles as possible.
Today, our specific focus will be race and evolution. Remember, this is a conversation, so we expect everyone to play an active role, so please jump in with questions or comments whenever you are inspired. As facilitators, we will ask questions, make connections, and make sure everyone gets a chance to contribute meaningfully.
Before we get to the topic, we're going to start with a question that will help us see a little about each other's backgrounds. The question is, what choices were available to you after high school? Again, I'm going to repeat it again. What choices were available to you after high school? Also, could you everyone open their cameras, please, before you answer this question? Okay.
Would this be like any choices?
Yes, anything.
Well, for me specifically, after high school I was thinking about like jobs and school. So I was just thinking like choices like what school could I go to? I went to a branch campus at Penn State for my first 2 years, so one of my choices was, should I go to the main campus all 4 years? Should I go to the branch campus? I had like a lot of opportunities after high school. I started waitressing at a restaurant. So those are kind of the choices that I was thinking about after high school. I don't know if that's like relevant at all.
Are these choices common within your family or community?
Yes, yeah. This is what a lot of people were thinking about. In my high school is super small. I graduated with like 110 kids, and it was basically like when you were in school, people like the choice you had to make is, are you going to go to college or are you going to work? So like I know a lot of people went and just worked straight out of high school, and there was a lot of people like me that went to school.
So the choices were based on yourself. You could choose which department you want to go in?
Yeah, my family really gave me a lot of freedom to make my own decisions. So the choices were like entirely up to me, and my parents were like really supportive of whatever decision I decided to make.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Maybe Ahmed, you could go.
Yeah. Hello, guys. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Do you want me to repeat the question?
No, I hear it good, but I'm just trying to make sure that you guys hear me well.
Oh, we can.
I think I got a lag with my internet or something else. So anyway, this Ahmed. Actually, I have been like facing a lot of choices for jobs. If you're talking this way, like in CCNA, that's mean in the IT section. I got this one because I learned it before, and to high school I go to the College of Arts, Department of Translation.
Could you explain what's the MMA? I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but could you explain that for us a bit?
Sorry.
You use an abbreviation. Could you please just elaborate more on that? What's exactly that?
What do you mean for CCNA?
Yes.
Yeah, it's section of IT, information technology, because which is I working on it now. It's Cisco certificate, nationality authorized or something else. It's talking about the devices and network, wireless, and something like it's talking all about the IT, information technology.
What I'm hearing is like you're really into technology, so I'm just like wondering what got you into it, like what something in your life influenced you to go into IT?
My job is right me right there. Before I learned it, before I did a CCNA, I got my job, which is IT manager, or you can say it's network manager, what we call the share NOC, Network Operation Center. That's which drive me there to the IT.
Nice, thank you.
I think Steven wanted to talk about the statement. Would you like to go on?
Sure, yeah. I guess for me, it was college was always going to be something that I pursued, just because that's kind of the culture in my family. I mean, they all went to solid institutions, and I think that was kind of the expectation for me. I went to Penn State for sports as well, so that kind of broadened my horizons when I came to schools. Just because I got recruited to go to places, and I had a solid amount of options, so it was kind of nice because I could really pick somewhere that I genuinely wanted to go, not that was just convenient for me or, easy to get into. So I had a lot of freedom, but yeah, I guess that I would say that those were my options after high school.
Say more, I want to know more.
Sure, I mean, I don't know. I guess I just started looking at colleges when I was like in my junior year of high school, and going into my senior year, I had already committed to going to Penn State. Like I told the coach that I was attending. So basically, my last year of high school, I was completely done with the college process, which isn't really normal. Most people are done sometimes in April of their senior year, so I had a lot of freedom in high school. But I don't know. I was very privileged to have a wide variety of opportunities to attend different places and find somewhere that I knew I'd be happy at. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what else to say.
You said you were looking at colleges when you were in your junior year. Is that something common kids in your community do based on?
Yeah. I think a lot of kids in the U.S., especially at like a college prep school, which is the school I went to, start looking at schools. They're sophomores and juniors in high school. And then junior year becomes really difficult, and kids start ramping up their applications, the application process, and trying to get the best grades possible. So it's pretty stressful.
Where are you from?
I'm from Denver, Colorado, but I obviously go to Penn State.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
I have a question for Steven.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not sure if you mentioned this already, but yes, you are from Colorado. So how did you end up, hearing about, not hearing about this since it's pretty well known, but how did you end up choosing Penn State? Was that a difficult decision, being that you had to travel?
Sure, yeah. So I don't know. It was like I said, I was recruited. Um, so I I looked at a lot of schools across the country, not just ones in Colorado. And I don't know, I liked the coach of Penn State a lot, and I obviously loved the school and loved what it had to offer. So it made choosing Penn State pretty easy.
Thank you.
It seems like Zainab raised her hand. If you'd like to go.
Yeah. I just wanted to answer the first question about, the choices that were available to me after high school. Yeah, I'll open my camera first. Okay. So I didn't have a lot of choices after school because I didn't need to have a job. So the only choices that I had at that time just going to college, and I put choices for me like going to translation department, which I did, and or going to sport college or psychology or medicine. But I think I did the best choice for me, at that time and this time. So this is the only choice, not the only choice, the best choice that I had at this time as well.
Oh, before I ask you a question, I wanted to mention that you can just jump to the conversation without raising your hand. So if you have something to say, just go on. That applies for everyone. Yeah, you were talking about going into translation. I'm just kind of curious as was there a certain influence in your family or community that led you to go onto that path?
Actually, there is. I didn't nobody knew that I will come here in translation department. It's not something that I told anybody about. It's a choice that I made 2 years before or after before school, before the college study. So no, nobody just there is no a reason from the others. It's just decision I made it by myself. And the main reason why I chose this department is just because I love the language a lot, and I just feeling that being interpreter is just the perfect job for me.
Oh, I'm kind of curious. What do your parents do?
My father is a professor at university, and my mom was a teacher before, but now she quit.
You talked about that you didn't need a job, and why was that? Could you tell us
Actually, it's just because I didn't feel that I have to have a job at that time. But I feel that it's not something right to think about. I now I feel like I should have a job before just 1 year ago. So I don't know, just I didn't have that idea that I should have a job, because all my brothers were just didn't have a job. So after they just have their jobs after college. So this is it.
Is it common for people in your community not having jobs and just going straight into college?
Actually, I don't see too much girls. I don't know about boys. No, actually, there is too much boys in college have jobs, but for girls, no. There is a few of them have jobs, but not too much.
And where do you live again?
I live in Mosul, Iraq.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi. Hello.
Hello, we can hear
hi.
you.
Hello.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, to answer the first question, most of students here in Iraq head to college after they just graduate from high school. But according to their average. So at that time, I got 72, and I wanted to be an engineer in any section. That's why I'm here in translation, because my average. It's true that I chose this department, but from the few options that I got, so it's not like here to get or to have or to choose what you like. It's 50-50, what you like and what the average leads you.
Could you tell us more about the grading system?
That's because
Sorry?
it sounds very, the grading system, it sounds very different for other people. So if you could just like elaborate more about it.
Can you hear me well? Sorry.
Yes.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying, could you talk more about the grading system?
Grading system. Okay. It's that when you're just graduate from high school, you got some, I can say, average from out of 100. It's percentage. So it's gonna lead you to the college and even the university that the number of the average leads you.
What I'm hearing is that the choices are limited.
Yeah, exactly. So the options, it's not according to you, according to the average that you got.
So each department is based on how much average does it need to go to college?
All of it.
All of it, yeah.
I'm curious to hear some. Sorry, Kayla, go.
No, I just have a question. So what scores are determined? Like, what is considered good, and what scores would you need to get into like the engineering department? Are you in the engineering department, or is that?
No, actually, I'm in translation department, mostly university, and I wanted to be an engineer in Baghdad University. Some circumstances happened to me, so it just got me away from my dream. I wanted to be an engineer because I think and I believe that I have some imagination about architecture or maybe design. So that's why I wanted that. But, I had the option to choose translation because I was kind of good in English. And, it's silly, silly reason, but I like movies, so that's why I just tend to go to English or translation department.
So which department needs the highest average?
The highest average?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah, medicine, of course. Medicine, then engineer for all the departments.
And why is that? What's it based on?
Well,
Which department?
the demand, I think. I have no idea actually, but it's the demand of the students. They all need to go to medicine to be doctors, just for the job. Because here in Iraq, we suffer from unemployment, and that's really a big issue that we are suffering from right now. And even translation, we can have a job easily, but I think freelances will provide to us, and we hope that, of course.
That's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I would love to go more, but I would actually like to hear others' response to the initial question. Maybe Tay?
Hi,
Hi.
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so after high school, my parents gave me like the option of what I wanted to do. I was a soccer player in high school, so it was either go to a school for soccer that was a little smaller because I wasn't really good enough to go like D1, like Division One, and the United States is like our big like sports schools. So it was either that or I could go to like a larger school without playing a sport. So I started my like application process summer of before my junior year. I mean my senior year. So it was like I had like a lot of options by the end of the year, and I decided in February that I wanted to go to Penn State. And right now I'm in the communications program, which I always wanted to do. I want to be a sports broadcaster. Can you hear me? Did you hear that? Okay. You're muted.
You said a lot of interesting things I'm trying to process, actually.
Yeah.
Could you explain what's Division 1, actually? I don't, for those who don't know, what's Division 1?
It's like, so there's the schools in the United States are like ranked in divisions, like their athletics, and like Penn State and other schools are in a higher division than smaller schools. Like normally like state schools are in higher divisions, so like University of Pitt, which is in Pittsburgh, and like other schools. Like the other kid on this, I think.
What I'm hearing is
Steven, he went to Penn State for a sport, so he probably knows too. Like there's different ranks in the schools for their sports programs.
I have a question. Do you still play? Like, do you do club soccer or IM?
No, I don't right now. I was thinking about it, but with the whole like virus thing, like I'm just gonna focus on academics.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The good thing from Miriam, I think we haven't heard your voice yet.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
About the question, actually in Iraq specifically, we don't have that much of opportunities to have a job, like in everywhere, and especially for girls. So we had to go to college first and have a degree, and then we can get a job or something. But before we can't, it's just something so difficult to have.
I'm pretty curious as to, like, you keep saying, like, especially girls. I'm just wondering, I don't know how to put it, just like, is it something more related to your community? I don't know.
Yeah, it's just about the community. We have that problem of genders stuff. So girls is not like boys in everything. So if a boy wanted to have a job, he can go to anywhere, but not in all places. Of course, we have a problem in working. We don't have that opportunity to have work for two genders because we have a lot of problem in the politics stuff. So I don't think anybody could have a job before you get a degree. And even after get a degree, you will have a lot of problems to get a job. You need a lot of things to have.
Could you elaborate more on things? That's such a broad term. You could specify.
In Iraq, we have politics, and our main government they are bad. So if you want to have a job, you need to have a relation with someone working in the government. So you can't get a job if you don't have that person. You just need to do something else.
Wow, that's such a bold statement. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks for sharing. I would like to hear from Saad.
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Hello, yes, we can hear you.
That's great. First of all, I'm so glad to be here again with you to quench my thirst with the great ideas. Actually, every single person of us has his own dream, and in order to achieve that dream, the majority of us go to college to meet with their dreams, and I'm one of them. Actually, I went to college to achieve my dream that I was dreaming to do, and I was lucky and get it. So yeah, I'm so lucky. I get my major, and the matter is when you meet with something you're always dreaming about, and you will be something good to your community. And this is the matter. Is the whole the process. Um, the first time when I went to politics science, I wasn't happy there. I was always telling myself, hey, Sad, you're into the right place. You have to change it. And at the end of the day, I was able to change it. Thanks God.
And what do you study now?
Translation department. I will be a translator.
Good.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
All right.
I'd actually love to go more on that, but it's actually time to transition. So, Razar, if you could go.
Well, now we are going to transition to a statement related to what you were discussing in class. The goal is to examine the statement from as many angles as possible, which means we need each of you to say different things from each other. So, race is an evidence that evolution is occurred. I'm gonna put that in the chat.
Just to say it again, race is evidence that evolution occurred. Also, I'd like to point out that you guys can jump and ask each other questions. So if you have something in mind, just do that. It would be actually great.
So are we just discussing this? Like there's not a question?
Yes.
No, it's just a statement, and just tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, well, whenever I hear that, I immediately think of skin because I think that's the most, easy to see at least. So what Sam was talking about in class, and I've just known this from school and stuff, but the closer you are to the equator, the more sun you get, and which can damage your skin. And there's some people that have more melanin in their skin. I think that's what it is, that will protect their skin from the harsh sunlight. And I think melanin is the thing that gives your skin pigment. So people with more melanin will have darker skin. So whenever I feel race is evidence that evolution occurred, that's kind of what it makes me think of. People right along the equator will probably have a lot more melanin than people I live in Pennsylvania, so I don't think I really have melanin at all because when I go outside I burn. So
I personally agree with Jordan. Like she said, when you live in a warmer area, your skin can be damaged by the sun. So I think they had to adapt. Their skin types had to adapt to that kind of harsh treatment, and with melanin, which does protect you from some of the sun's rays. Ultimately, the more melanin they have, the darker their skin. And as people went up north, they didn't really need that kind of protection from the sun. Their skin stays lighter the further away they are from the equator, and that's kind of how we all just look different. So I guess it could be evidence that evolution occurred as like skin types were adapting to their surrounding environments, and it just kind of carried on generation after generation. So it could be, yeah.
So you think that it is based on location and sun distance?
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Actually, you, to me, it sounded like you were agreeing with what Bernie said, but I would actually love to know your initial reaction to the statement.
Personally, when I first looked at this thing, this is my first time looking at it. If I could talk about like the very first time, because I have a different dialogue. The very first time I looked at it, first I was confused because I was like, how did they make these connections? But then as the social kids started talking about what Sam taught them, one of the kids brought up a point that this theory that we all are from Africa, like we all were there, and that, like back in the day, it's not back in the day, but like way before, and so we were all there until people started, migrating, and yes, and moving from that really hot and harsh environment, and thus we have different skin colors, different skin types, as like I was saying, people adapted to their environment, and ultimately that kind of just is my opinion, and I think that could be evidence that evolution occurred. I know that I just said the same thing, but that's kind of like, sorry.
It was different, Owen. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
What are other thoughts? What hasn't been said yet? More questions, please. Say that if you could go. Okay. Ahmed, if you could go.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, what hasn't been said? Like, what's your reaction? Just like, this is an opinion, and like, that's one side. Like, I want to see more sides to this statement. So I'm just like asking people to volunteer to go. Someone could jump in. Oh, wow, no one.
I have a question. Can I ask Tay a question? Hi, Tay. I would just like to ask, what do you think? What did you think when you first heard this statement? Or when you first read it?
Well, so I learned about evolution in high school, so it was kind of like a refresher. But yeah, I do like agree with everything that's been said, because everyone, like, there was like one that group that originated near the, like, I don't really know like where, but as they like flooded out from like their original place, like there's different, as you go north, you have like lighter skin tones, and then near the equator you have like darker, and then when everyone like stopped at like different places in the world, it created a new race, and then it just went on from there.
I have a question. I know that evolution is a theory, and there are so many people who have different thoughts about what evolution is. And you said you were taught about it in high school. I'd like to know, like, what exactly were you taught in high school about evolution? If you don't mind sharing.
Um, so I took it in junior year of high school. So not evolution, but I think we learned it in biology, I think it was. But I don't know, but I'm not sure if they're allowed to teach it anymore. Because I remember my teacher like telling me that they don't think it's that the following year it wasn't going to be um, in the like lesson plan because of it's so it's such like a controversial topic due to like religions and people that more believe science. So yeah, I don't really remember everything that was taught, but I just remember like how the how a human develops or developed.
Yeah, kind of going off of that. My high school experience learning about it was kind of the same. Like we were talking in bio, you start talking about like you start small and you end big. So they were kind of talking about okay, how can a little bacteria evolve to a human? So like that's kind of how I learned. But I feel like being like taught evolution in school, at least in my school, because I kind of live in like a conservative type area. People always have like a little like they teach you with a grain of salt. Because I have, in my experience at my school, there have been teachers that have gotten phone calls from parents that are like, "Why are you teaching my child evolution?" Because like it goes against like their religion or something. So at my school, at least, they've tried to teach it in the most like scientific way possible without trying to like offend anybody's religion or anything. So that's kind of like what I remember being taught about it.
Yeah, I remember. I know I agree with you with that because we didn't have a class like designated for evolution. It was more just like a quick topic we brought up in biology. It was like one lesson. I remember we spent like one day on it, and it was just very like it was not. There's no what's the word? It wasn't a lot. It was just very to the point how a human evolves, and that's about it.
So, Jordan, you think that the religion rejects the evolution?
I'm not really like a religious person, so I don't want to like offend anybody, but I just know there are some types of like Christianity. I think that like they don't believe in evolution at all. So I know like I knew some like kid, or I don't want to say they don't believe in evolution at all. That's why I say I don't want to like sound offensive, but I know like in the Bible it doesn't talk about evolution at all. But I know that there was like some kids in my class that I don't know. Somebody's like making a weird face. I don't know. I'm not religious, so I don't really know what I'm talking about. But I know some kids in my class they would like get worried about their parents like when talking about evolution because like their parents were like, oh no, like that's not how it works. Like so I don't know. I feel like for me not being really raised like religiously at all, it wasn't like a problem for me to learn about it. But I just know that there was some tension with some of my classmates in class, like learning about it because like obviously people want to learn, but like if it goes against like what you've been taught by your parents and stuff, it can be kind of like hard. Because you don't want to disappoint your parents. You know you were taught this one thing your whole life. Now you're being taught something else. So it's like, can they go hand in hand, or is one true and one's not? So I don't know. I'm kind of rambling now.
Oh, that was beautiful, actually. Go on, Razar, sorry.
So is it based on parents that are choosing what their children should study, or they have?
Yeah, I think in a way, like their parents are kind of like restricting them in a way, saying like, yeah, this is what your school's teaching you, but that's not what I want you to think.
You said a lot of interesting things, but I'm actually curious as to our experience in mutual thing, because obviously they are in a different community, and I just want to know their thoughts about it. So maybe Zainab.
All right.
Oh, sorry, I'm the one. Okay, go.
Sorry. No, as well.
No, go. Really go.
Okay. This theory, I believe in it actually, and I believed in it more when a coronavirus was shown this year or the end of the last year, because coronavirus a creature in the end, right? So it's new. So I think we have to, when we think about this theory, evolution or Big Bang theory, we just kind of think out of the box, or just put the religion aside and think scientifically to understand it more. And in my opinion, I think evolution, it's make more sense. It makes sense more than everything I've heard.
Thanks for giving us an amazing example.
I
Sorry again. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was gonna ask, is it okay that and people around you think the same as you like that, or maybe they are more restricted to believe in evolution?
Around me, of course, they will be angry with me, especially my family, but I don't care. That's my belief inside of me. When I was born as a Muslim, that's right, and I believe that there's a God, of course. But there is something, just like a planet in my brain, that Islam is the correct religion. I am a Muslim right now. I will say that, of course, I will not deny it. But I have searched about that. I've read about many religions, not all of it, of course, but many. But I've learned, I've read some from the Bible, and I think I'm gonna search more in my life, and I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say that the right religion is Islam, but I'm gonna read. No, I'm gonna put the religion aside and to learn more about the religions and ideas.
Yeah, but I just have a question for Abdullah. Is it
And be educated, to not restrict on something specific. And that because I was born as a Muslim, that means that Islam is the correct religion. It's really a mistake, from my point of view, of course.
I've been hearing a lot about religion being connected to evolution, which is kind of interesting to be honest. But what hasn't been said? I would love to know it. What other thoughts you can?
Sure, I can hop in. I know it's a natural reaction to kind of conflate evolution and religion. I don't think they really need to be pitted against each other, even though that's kind of the direction this class takes. I mean, evolution is, people like to dismiss it because it's a theory, but I mean, so is gravity. Gravity, the theory of gravity. And in many ways, evolution is simply a fact. That being said, I don't think one disproves the other. I think they both serve valuable purposes in people's lives. I mean, evolution, we can observe it happening in nature outside of humans. So there's mountains of evidence to support it. So it's not really whether you believe in it or not, it's whether you choose to actually recognize it. However, I mean, I don't think just because you recognize evolution is a thing doesn't mean you need to be any less religious. I mean, just because there's no point in trying to pick one or the other. That just creates a lot of unnecessary tension, and I find it pretty frustrating when parents, like someone else was talking about, when parents refuse to let their kids learn because it goes against their religious beliefs. I think that's just selective ignorance and kind of perpetuating the cycle of ignorance. And I get that religion is sacrosanct and centered to many households. But I mean, you can never progress as a society if you actively deprive people of information. So that's pretty frustrating to me. I mean, religion, I get, serves a valuable spiritual purpose. You know, that's a critical part of society. I don't think one needs to disprove the other or vice versa. I think they both kind of can coexist side by side, even though it's not how it's often portrayed. Those are just my thoughts. So I think like Abdullah, I think that was his name, was talking about how he's an active Muslim, but also recognizes evolution's legitimacy. I think that's probably the ideal way to go about it, even though I'm not personally religious at all.
I agree with you like 100%. I think what you said that very well. Obviously, I was trying to go along those lines, but you just have a better way with words than I do.
No, I was just thinking about this since our last class, so I kind of.
Actually, I would love for you to like summarize what you said as a initial reaction to the statement. Sorry, like if you could put all of what you said into one sentence, or like just a short thing. What would you say?
Do you mean react to the race as evidence of evolution statement?
Yes.
Okay, so you want me to? Okay.
Like, summarize what you said, like, because, like I said, you offered I can't say this, oh my god, I forgot.
No, you're fine.
It's just, you said something that's kind of different to what we were talking about, which is religion, so I would like for you to summarize that into one statement.
Oh, sure. I mean, evolution is inherently a fact in many ways, but that doesn't mean a person can't believe in both, be both religious and spiritual, and also recognizes legitimacy. But I don't think they need to contradict each other in any way, or evidence, of evolution doesn't need to deprive someone of their spirituality.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry. Personally, I'm someone who did grow up Christian, and I still am Christian, and evolution, like I believe Jordan said, it's not something that is discussed in the Bible. However, I'm pretty sure. Well, first, when I think of evolution, the only possible thing that comes to my brain is that whole thing, the thingy with the ape, and then like first it's a chimpanzee, then it's like getting taller and taller, and then it's a human. Like that's the only possible thing that can come to mind. And all I know is that yes, it doesn't align with the Bible. In that case, I have, as a Christian, I personally wouldn't choose to believe in evolution because it does conflict with my religion. And I do understand the whole thing where it's like, well, like they don't necessarily have to have anything to do with each other at all. You can practice your religion and believe whatever. But I think that's different for me because um, I know that when you are a Christian, when you do read the word and stuff like that, when you're into it, that's what you surround your life on. That's your foundation. That's your principle, and that's how I have chosen to live my life.
So, what would your parents do if they know their children believes in evolution, like Christian parents?
My parents personally would not care. He'd say, oh, I mean, hey, okay, you know, because they're very chill. They're not the type to be like, you must never believe in those things. They'll be like, believe it, you want to believe, you know, if that's what you feel, and go ahead, girl, do it. You know, it's not anything serious in their eyes.
Right, thank you for sharing. What else? I want to hear more. What else are you thinking of initially? Someone who hasn't gone yet. Maybe Ahmed? If you could share your initial response to the statement.
So, you got a question?
I was just asking you to share your initial response to the statement, which is race is evidence that evolution occurred.
Yeah, actually, the reasons for the evolution is like, we all
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I think he can't hear us. That's okay. Someone else. Zainab? If you could share your opinion, your thoughts.
Yes, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
The internet was broken for a really long time, so I don't know.
I was just asking, what's your reaction to the initial statement, which is posted in the chat room, by the way? Race is evidence that evolution occurred. Can you hear me? Okay. I guess we can hear each other's thoughts about what we said to each other. Maybe Tay, if you could give more input, like what were you thinking about when Kayla was talking, some initial reactions to what she said.
Well, I grew up, so my mom is Jewish and my dad is a Christian. So, but they're not very religious, but I did take my mom's religion, so I did um, study like Judaism, but I haven't, I didn't really get into my religion due to like my parents being so like giving me so much freedom of how to think, and I never really thought deep into evolution and like religion. I don't know. It's just not something I ever really got into, but I do know that like there are a lot of normally someone steers one way or the other, whether it's religion or like evolution. It's like science based. So I think it just depends on how you like how you educate yourself. And I really had like an open, like my parents were never strict with like you have to believe a certain thing. So I do think back to like the initial question, which, well, not question, but statement raises evidence that evolution occurred. I think that's like really controversial. Like I don't like it depends on what you believe in, and like I don't really have much of an opinion. What?
I would say like say more about this. You said it's controversial. The statement
Yeah.
So I would like for you to say more about it.
Well, like a very religious person that studied their religion and what their religion believes in the Bible, depending on what religion you like study, they don't believe in evolution really, but more sciencey people that like study science and like follow those paths, I feel like do believe in evolution because they have like looked at the scientific evidence. So it's really like it's controversial between like the religious group and the scientific group. But I don't really have an opinion on it because I never really got into a religion or deep into science. So I kind of just went off of what Sam said in class and how he described it, and like that makes sense to me. But I know that evolution isn't believed by everyone.
What I'm hearing now is we're mainly talking about religion, and I just like to know more. Like, what are other reactions that you could have to the statement? And I'm asking everyone. So we had a lot of talk about religion. We had a lot of talk about how Kayla mentioned the evolution, like the chimpanzee thing. I just want to know, what other things? What haven't we explored? Again, this is directed to everyone, so if you could go.
Well, one thing is, I talked about like skin first, because like that's just what I think of first. But also like how we look, even in our faces. So and like I'm white, so I feel like I have like more like rounder eyes. But I know in like Asia, a lot of people have like more like almond shaped eyes, and I don't know if that's like evolution or what, but I just know that that is like something that I've noticed. Also hair, like I'm really Irish, that's why I have red curly hair, and I know in Asia a lot of people have like straighter, like thicker black or darker hair. So I also don't know if that has to do with like adaptation or if it's just like because like different groups of people, around each other kind of just like produce the same type of like look. But that's another thing, like it's not just like skin that makes us different. Also like eye color, I don't know if this is true because I saw it on the internet, so who knows, but I heard that like blue eyes could have been like created because of a mutation that occurred in somebody. So I don't know if that really has anything to do with evolution, but I feel like definitely how we look in race could have been like very, very influenced by evolution. Like I really don't understand like why my hair is curly and then like some people's hair is straight. So that's just another thing to think about.
It's actually fascinating. You brought up the word adaptation. I don't know. I'd love to hear more. If you could like talk more about it.
Well, kind of what Kayla was talking about earlier when we first got on this topic, where we all kind of started, in history way back, like millions of years ago or however long ago, we all kind of started more into like the center of, the world by the equator, and we moved outwards and our skin like adapted to like whatever environment we're in. So I'm just like thinking, I'm like, well, maybe like our eye shapes also adapted to some certain type of like environment, or maybe like even our hair, like, or like, I don't know, maybe some people in like colder climates, maybe they have like more body hair because they had to adapt to it, and then that just became like a trait of like wherever location they're in. So that's just kind of what I'm thinking about, like adapting to like whatever environment you're in. Like I feel like our skin over millions of years has definitely done that. So maybe the other physical differences that we have between, you know, different locations in the world, maybe that was just adaptations that at the time we had to make to survive.
It looks like people from Mosul are coming back. So guys, what do you think of the relation between evolution and religion? Do you guys wanna go?
Or you could give us your initial reaction to the statement, which is, again, if you didn't hear it, race is evidence that evolution occurred. So for those who just got back, you could tell us your thoughts of your grade. Again, anyone can go.
Can you just repeat the question?
Oh, the statement is race is evidence that evolution occurred. Just want to hear your initial reaction to the statement.
I don't think like your race will like you will like you can do evolution because you are black or you are white or this something like that. It depends on your mind and what you can do. We all are humans and we have the same brain. So if you can create something, it's not like you can't do it because you are white or you are black. No, this is not right. If you can create something, you can do it because you are a human. Everybody could do anything they want. It's not like because of your country or your place you can do what you want. This is totally racism if we do like that.
So what I'm hearing is that skin color in general isn't related to evolution. So I just would like to know what is in your perspective.
It's actually our country have a lot of problems. We have like tons of problems. So if you want to take about racism in our country, is something like live with us. Something is exist. So we actually suffer this problem a lot. And I don't think I can speak about that because we actually have racism in our country.
Could you please define, like, can you paint us a picture of what is racism in your country and how that relates to this statement?
In our country, racism is something exists for generations, but now it's like not as the past, but it also exists. Like we have problems with religions, like Sunni, Shia, or Christian people. Everybody have its own side, so you can't go to that side. If you want to go to that side, that means you want to do a war. You need to be watch out. If you want to go to this side, so you need to be in your area and don't cross your limit. You are not allowed to go for any place that Sunnis are not there because I am Sunni.
Could you please explain what's Sunni and Shia for those who don't know?
Sunni is like they both Muslims, but Sunnis are people like they have a different religion of Shia does. So there's a lot of problems between the two religions in this. But we all Muslim in the end. I don't know why they have that problem.
What I'm
It's just
hearing,
because of the minds.
what I'm hearing is that Sunni and Shia is like both related to Islam, but they're like different. They have like differences. Is that right?
Yeah, they believe in things, and Sunnis maybe don't believe in it, and it's like the same for both of the religion.
And how can you tie that to racism? Because from what I'm hearing, racism in your country is kind of different to what is racism is initially conceived as. So how would you tie that?
Racism in like all over the world is because of the skin color. Like we don't have that problem, thank God, but we have a problem with religion. Like the religion is too important. If you wanna do something, they put in their consideration your religion in one of the top things. So if you wanna go for a job, for example, if you go for like a place there Shias live in there, you can't get the job because you're Sunni. So this is just a problem.
I'm curious about what made these differences, or who made them.
It's like it's also back to our government and the politics stuff and our like the leaders of our country who put this problem in all the generations. Like for like the starting of Iraq, this problem was exist, and we still like try to make it disappear, but still exist for some places.
Could you please like tie in religion and evolution for you in your community? Because now to me this is like two different topics, the way you're talking about it. So like how would you tie in these two ends together? And how would they go hand in hand in your community or in your opinion?
Okay, like we are in Iraq, Sunnis cities, they are not like Shia cities because Shias does like more things. They are more evolution because they have more opportunities, they have more countries to work in. But Sunnis, we don't have that much of revolution. Like we still have a problem in this way, and because of ISIS, if you know them, they come to Mosul and Fallujah and different cities of Sunnis and destroyed totally. So we still severe of this problem, but that problem didn't go happened in Shia's cities. So they had more like they more evolution than us now. We had a war, so we still have the affection of the war of this war until now. But they don't suffer this problem.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
I'm curious to see like what are the reactions to what just Mariam said? Like when you heard what she said, I would love to hear some initial thoughts about how it's different in her community. The way religion is viewed with evolution. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts. Again, anyone could go.
I'll go. I feel like in the United States where we live, there's so much more freedom and opportunity, and especially freedom when it comes to like how we want to think. There's so many different views and opinions, like everywhere. So hearing her country's like condition, it I understand that like religion is such a large aspect of their lives, and yeah.
I would love. Thank you for sharing. But I would love to hear from someone who hasn't spoken about this yet. Um, Again, Ahmed maybe sad. I remember seeing him unmuting, then muting back so someone could go. You can go.
Yeah, sorry, before that I lost my service.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm using my data plan right now. You know, the life in Iraq. What are the questions, or what are you guys talking about,
Okay.
please?
The statement is race is evidence that evolution. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Great.
Hello?
I can hear you. You can go.
Yeah, actually, we must compare in everything, like in technology or in teaching, learning, or in all of style life. It's not a big part of. I mean,
Can you please say more? Okay. I don't know if you can hear me.
sorry.
I was saying, could you say more about what you just said? Like your reaction to the statement, please?
Yeah, I mean, we all must compete in everything, like in technology or technique or teaching, learning, or whatever it's talking about. We have to compete between us, like between city and city, or country and country, or even like region of region.
So what I'm hearing is that evolution to you is more about evolution in different parts of the world.
It's not a maybe more in if we compare with the others, and maybe less if we compare with the like Europe. We are less than, and if we talking about our neighbors, maybe you are more than, and maybe you are less. But we should have a compete between us. We should have growth, evolution, development between parts or countries.
Actually, I would love to hear like what how do you define evolution for yourself? And how does I would love to know how do you personally define evolution and like, how does that tie in with what just you said? I mean, yes, I heard that you're more talking about evolution of oneself. Like, can you just tell me more?
Yeah, and violent evolution is a change, like an uh, Yeah.
After hearing this, what are some reactions? What are some initial thoughts? Even we haven't heard from you in a while, sorry.
Sorry, me.
What? Sorry.
Never mind. I thought you called on me.
Oh yeah, I did. I was like, what's initial reaction to what you just heard? And then, yeah.
Oh, sure. No, yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty fascinating all around. There's not really a common rhetoric you can turn to, especially with something that's pretty controversial. And I know that's going to kind of delineate across cultures. And I think that's just the natural part of life. I don't think there's anything we can really do to unify that. I'm not really sure. I thought I actually didn't know that there was discrimination. I know there's obvious discrimination between Sunnis and Shias. I didn't know it was so institutionalized that it could prevent you from getting jobs or getting into certain universities. That's pretty astounding to me. As I know there's a ton of conflict, but I didn't know it was a daily characteristic of life. That was pretty remarkable, I think.
Thank you. Actually, that was a very fruitful dialogue, but I'm afraid that it's time for checkout.
It's time to check out. During checkout, you'll have the chance to respond to one more question. Rather than responding to one another, you'll go one by one to give your final thought. When it's your turn, try to offer a unique thought. What is something you heard in this dialogue that you would like someone outside of this dialogue to hear?
I can start. Personally, I would like to continue the conversation of how evolution connects to religion in some way. I know that was a big topic that we focused on, and I would like to continue our conversation with the people who either are religious or not so religious.
Thanks for sharing.
Thanks for sharing.
Again, you guys just go in turn.
I'll go. I would like to, along with what she said, what Kayla said, I think that I would want to learn more about both and involving race and get opinions from the other side to see where I stand, because I don't know where I stand really.
Thank you.
What was the question? Was it, what would you want somebody outside of this group to have learned?
What is something you heard in this dialogue specifically that you would like someone outside of this dialogue to hear?
Yeah, I really liked what Steven said about how religion and evolution can coexist, and there really shouldn't be one or the other. And I don't think that goes just for evolution. I feel like for a lot of things, it really seems like it's either you can choose your religion or you can choose science, and I feel like that's just not the case. So I would want somebody to hear about that.
Thanks for sharing. Would like to go on next?
I would just love to hear more about what daily life.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, no, go ahead.
I would just love to hear more about what daily life in Iraq is like, and what your culture entails, and how you guys view geopolitical issues and issues with religion and race.
Thank you for sharing. Bob, you were going to say something? You could go next.
Yeah, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
That's great. I think I'm going to stay committed to the question of whatever the human form will generally change in the future according to the theory of evolution.
Thank you. Mariam?
I want actually to say like what other people know about us in Middle East, like what all over the world know about what's happening in the Middle East. I would love to have a conversation about that.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
sharing. Ahmad, would you like to go?
Yes, yes. This dialogue should be heard by other people outside, which is because not a lot of people know this information, and us, to be honest.
Thank you. Sharing. Abdullah?
I just want to add something about evolution and religion. If anything, not just evolution, just contradicts with the religion, I prefer to just put the religious thoughts beside and think more about the science because I think and I believe the science always wins.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. I think that was everyone. So thank you all for being here in this dialogue. And over to you, JD.
Look, yeah, I'm back. There's one thing left for the Penn State students to do. If you've joined us from Mosul today, feel free to exit the call when you'd like. We appreciate you showing up and talking to us today. But for everybody else, in the chat, I just sent you 2 links. Please click the first one. It's for our post-program evaluation. So at the end, it'll have the PPE-F. The password is WINC, and the dialogue ID is there for you as well. When you finish, please share your screen to show us the little globe at the end. That'll solidify your attendance for Social 19, and that'll be your ticket out the door as well. And just to reiterate, this thing I posted, anybody joining us from Mosul, don't worry about filling it out. It's just for our Penn State students.
Thanks for being with us, students from Mosul. You are free to go now.
Thank you for being here, and I know you've been having a lot of problems with the internet, so thank you for taking time of your life and just share.
Thank you so much.
Feel free to exit.
Thank you for